Hello and welcome to the Penny Dee Podcast. This is for you if you would like to sit for 20 to 30 minutes every month, relaxing your mind and just listening to my ramblings about life, love, happiness and much more. I'm your host, Penny Davis, and welcome to the show. So I continue with my series of interviews that are originally aired on my radio show on Mix 56. Today we are going to be speaking to the lovely Leanne Brown. Now, Leanne Brown used to be on Housewives of Cheshire. She was your classic wag. She was married to Wes Brown, who was a Manchester United and England player. She was riding high in the world. She was with Wes for over 20 years, has a beautiful family with him. But when she finished on the show around 6 years ago, she'd already started to feel like she was out of alignment with what she really believed and what she was doing on the show. She went on an amazing journey and she went from what we would call wagdom to spirituality. This interview is just lovely with Leanne. She is so genuine, open, warm and really raw actually. I found Leanne to be a genuinely nice person and I felt like she was a very caring person. I hope you'll enjoy the interview. It certainly gives you a wonderful insight into someone that we see on TV who you think has got it all but is in fact dealing with lots of things the rest of us are. Enjoy. Welcome to the show, Leanne.
Thank you for having me, Penny.
Now, many of our listeners will remember you from the Housewives of Cheshire, but you did leave that show 6 years ago.
Yes, I did.
Yes, so let's just pick up from when you left the Housewives, Leanne, because I know you've been up to lots of stuff.
Yes, I have been on a bit of a journey, to say the least. A real spiritual journey. I think I started while I was in the Housewives, really delving into the self-development, and I'd started doing a lot of writing and started writing my journal. So what I really put my energy into when I left the Housewives, which I'm sure a lot of people know if they've followed my journey, doing the charity work for One Woman at a Time, which was a charity that sponsors girls that have are at risk of female genital mutilation, forced marriage and gender-based violence in Kenya.
Right.
So the lady who did my hypnobirthing, Jean Anderson, amazing lady, who's the founder of the charity. I actually got in touch with Jean because I wanted to do something that was empowering to women and wanted to help women, with birth, because it was hypnobirthing that really empowered me, and that was with my third daughter Lola, and it was just a completely different experience that I'd had with the other two. I was so in control of my body and my mind and my connection to my mind and my body, and the knowledge that words have such an impact, that using words like pain, how often are your pains or contraction is a hard word, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
And we use words like surge, and just how that word surge can soften the message from the mind to the body and ease the baby out, and learning to breathe the baby out instead of forcing the baby out. So I really wanted to share that knowledge with women, and it was all that era of that too posh to push as well.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to share that. But then Jean obviously then told me about the work she'd done in Kenya, and then I sort of just really started to put my energy into that. Went over to Kenya. I did a parachute jump on the last series of the show to raise money for Jean and One Woman at a Time, become patron. And then being over in Kenya was definitely like Dorothy was not in Kansas anymore. It was very different to the Real Housewives of Cheshire anyways. But it was a real humbling experience for me, and it really set me on a deeper journey and just to want to continue that work. And I didn't know where it was going to lead me, but I was just open just to do more and help empower others, and raise some money for the charity, and then started to delve more into my meditation and deeper into my self-development, and that just helped me massively, because coming away from the show I wasn't in a good place mentally, and I had to implement certain things into my life. And just as the process went on, I just started to become more and more aware of in my body and the changes that were happening to my mind when I actually accessed them calmer states, them brainwave states. And one of the things that happened was when I got a message from a random DM actually about my breast implants. Obviously being in that world as well, you're obviously wearing a lot of makeup and you're having your hair done regular and all the rest of it. And I'd had some issues with my boobs for quite a while, and I'd sort of ignored them, and you put them to different symptoms.
What type of symptoms were you experiencing?
So I was tired all the time, had aching joints and muscles. Like you'd go to the gym and you ache for a couple of days. It would be constant. I would constantly ache. I had reoccurring like colds. I had allergies. I had pains. I had a bit of brain fog, eyes would be sore, and I just thought, I put it down to tiredness, I'd run down and stuff. And then I got a random DM saying about breast implant illness, and it was a thing. And then all these women that had come forward had spoke out about it, but we don't hear anything about it.
And now a word from our sponsor, Queen's Happiness Decoded. Join me as I explore what it means to be a woman today and what controls our happiness. Out now in paperback, Kindle, and now on Audible. And now back to the show. Were you recalled for yours to be removed, or did you just take that upon yourself?
Yeah, no, I just took it upon myself, and I just started to do more and more research, and there was actually quite a few celebrities that had spoken out about it and had them removed, and there's been documentaries made about it. So one of the things that I had that I suffered with was a bad hip, and it would flare up and hormonally as well. Had a sacral iliac dysfunctional joint, and I really struggled over the years. I'm hypermobile. I was gymnast when I was younger, so that was something that it always flared up when I was due on my period. So obviously it's because of your hormones in your body. When I had my implants out, it disappeared.
Wow.
And I still have to work with my dysfunctional joint, but with the flaring up when the hormonal changes, it just went away. So that was like, and then I didn't feel as tired, everything just disappeared. My breast implants that then led me to look at other things and started my podcast. Then obviously got Jess on the podcast, Jess Cunningham, who was a friend of mine who I met about a year before, and said let's do a retreat together. So obviously we did the Divine Feminine retreats, and Sophie came on board and did the food, and then we did a few retreats, the three of us together, and then Jess ended up leaving and doing her belief coding, which is an amazing modality that she's created. Check that out if you've not heard of it. And then me and Sophie have gone on to create Eat, Pray and Self-Love, which has been our baby, and it's been incredible. Just again online with empowering other women and men, because we have men on the retreats as well, and just seeing beautiful shifts, like whether they gain knowledge from nutrition, or they have some sort of release from the breath work or from the workshops that we do, or they come away loving themselves a bit more, or they get clarity over where they want to be in life or where they're going in life. We do manifesting workshops, and there's so much, the cold water dipping, and
we like that.
So there's so much, and it's just so beautiful to be able to hold space for so many different groups of people from like all different walks of life that come and are brave enough to embark on that journey of self-investment and self-love and self-healing, because it is scary.
Absolutely, it is a journey, isn't it? And for you, with your retreats, what type of people come on them? You said it's for men and women. Is there any particular issue you would have, or is it just could be burnout, could be relaxation, could be just something going on, you want to get away from it all?
Yeah, we cater for anyone really. It's because we do a bit of yoga, and we do a little bit of done Pilates before. We've done fitness in Portugal. We had a big gym there. So anyone that's new to yoga or breath work or sound healing or cold water dipping, any of that, or maybe like you just stepped onto the journey and deepen your spiritual path, or just have a respite, you know,
from busy lives.
Yeah. If you want to get clarity, if you want to change direction of where you are in your life at the moment. And this has been this big one for me, the relationship thing. If you've been in a toxic relationship, and we carry so much, they say obviously it could be from our past relationships, but it usually always stems from your upbringing. My breakdown of my marriage, I was in the relationship for 25 years, and it was my whole adult life I've been in that relationship. And yeah, it was toxic at times. I have to take responsibility for my part in all of it, and being there, and journey we embarked on together. We've had 3 beautiful girls together that we've brought into the world, and we do have a good relationship, thank goodness. But this last couple of years, it's been 2 years since we've separated, over 2 years now, it's really helped me learn so much about myself and what the reasons behind why I've accepted so many things in my life, why I have played small, while I've kept myself in the box, while I've allowed myself to be manipulated in other relationships, and it all stems back from my daddy issues, and my dad leaving when I was younger, and that rejection. And I've always been searching outside of myself. I've been searching outside of myself to be seen, to be heard, to be acknowledged, to be loved, to be cherished. And I think that's the same with so many of us. We always search outside, and we never look within. We never see ourselves. Like, if you think about when we're born, we're a baby, and what do babies do? They look in the mirror and they kiss the reflection. How often do you kiss your reflection, Penny?
Not enough, by the sounds of it.
Yeah, because we lose the ability to see ourselves, the truest version of us, which is our soul. Yeah. When that baby looks in the mirror, it doesn't see skin or body. When babies, especially from 0 to 2, they're in their delta brainwave state, and that is when they're in complete bliss. They've got no differentiation between their inner world and their outer world.
Wow.
And they're constantly in this state of bliss. So they're learning and picking up things all of the time. So as we grow older, we get layered upon layered of limitations and beliefs, and then we start, looking at ourselves and picking flaws out in our face because somebody might have picked on us at school or said something hurtful, and we keep it all, and we stack it all up, don't we? And we layer it, and we start questioning, why do I feel like that about myself? Or why do I allow that to impact me and stay with me? Why am I holding on to that? And it's all to do with the layers and the beliefs that we've layered up over the years.
So you've got to start peeling them back. How did you come to the realisation that it stemmed back potentially to your relationship with your father?
My dad left when I was 13. With the belief coding is good. You have like the flashbacks because it pulls you into a memory, and then you realise, well, that's what happened when I was that age, and that's had a lasting impact on me and stayed with me. For instance, I just recently did a belief coding with a lady, Gemma, who we've been working with, who's amazing, and that was when I was implementing the beliefs. I'm proud to be who I am, and I value my worth. And it took me a while and this was only not that long ago. You think all the work I've done, but still these things come up, and when you start to say them, you realise the blockages that are hindering you, and it's from a memory that's happened. So the memory was, I was there when my dad was calling my mum, and I was laughing, right. And I wasn't sticking up for her. I just sat back and I found it funny, or whether I was laughing just to agree with my dad. I was a bit of a daddy's girl, and my dad worked away a lot, so he wasn't at home a lot. So when he was, he made a bit of a fuss, and he was nasty to my mum at times, not like, he wasn't doing it in a really malicious way. Like, I laughed, and that memory that triggered when I was doing the belief coding pulled me back, and then I was like, I realised that me laughing, I held so much guilt for that I believed I deserved to be spoken to like that.
Wow.
And that's what came to me. There's all these little things that happen to us that might be, if you thought about them, you think, well, that was insignificant, didn't really mean anything, but they have a lasting impact on you. I'd actually not spoken to my dad for 17 years, and we fell out when it was my 30th birthday. He'd actually come over because he lives in the Philippines, but he'd come over, he's remarried and everything. I reached out to him. So this has been another blow for me. So I reached out to him in December, thought I'd made the decision, I'd done all the work, and it come to me like, I need to reach out to him. He's a lot older. I need to make peace with it. Even if he says no, then at least I've tried. And we connected, and we had a few messages, and we had a FaceTime. And then it was just after Christmas. I said, oh, do you want to speak to the girls then? Because he'd asked to. And he's just never replied since. So that's been a real, like, that rejection again has just got me, and it's pulled me back into that memory of when he left the first time. But it's happened for a reason. It's happened to make me stronger. It's happened to create more awareness and to know that, you know, no matter what happens, I'll still be all right. And I'm still, like, channeling the people around me. And they always say your vibe, find your tribe. And it's funny, there's so many people that have come into my life over the last few years that I didn't even know existed before, that, like, soul sisters. And, you know, I've got a beautiful group of friends. I've still got my old friends. Like, some of them are not so close anymore, and that's all how it's meant to be. And it's just being open to that.
Confidence is the best accessory at any age. Elevate yours with Skin Goal Skincare's expertise. Shop at skingoal.co.uk.
People would look at you and be really surprised that you weren't confident and you didn't cherish yourself before. You know, you were on TV and you were very much attached to shows of wealth and being quite flashy, but you didn't really feel like confidence and self-love and I deserve to have all these wonderful things.
It was a bit embarrassing how much stuff that I bought that I actually didn't wear, and I had labels on it, and it was because I was trying to fill a hole. Obviously my relationship wasn't right, and I wasn't fulfilled in certain like aspects of it, and I would buy things to make me feel better. I put a post up actually a few weeks ago about I was putting my makeup on. I was actually going through a real tough time. The beginning of this year has been probably the toughest I've ever had. I was really on a downward spiral, and I think just the transition of separating and living on my own, and the kids not being with me all the time, and that's been really hard for the kids as well. But actually just not having my girls with me, that nobody really prepares you either for when your girls get to a certain age and they don't need you anymore, and they're doing their own thing, and it is soul destroying. It's like you feel made redundant in a sense. I was putting my makeup on and been crying all day, and I looked horrendous, and I actually posted the picture of me with no makeup on looking horrific, and then with my makeup on, and saying it was minutes apart, but it just shows you women just put this mask on, don't they? And I did on the show, it was when they put things out there, the lines that you say and stuff, I mean, I'm cringing from the beginning. I like nice things. I like spending money on, and, what's the most expensive thing you've bought? I bought a £2,000 jumpsuit, and it's obviously, I won't go around saying I've bought a £2,000 jumpsuit. It's for the show, they're obviously getting you to say it because it's a show exploiting wealth, but I felt really uncomfortable talking about it. Obviously, I'm not in nowhere near the position that I was before, and that's been a rude awakening for me, coming from a place of not having to worry about money to actually worrying about not having it, and and it is hard coming to work with the bump in a sense, and there was a lot of stress on our relationship because of the financial stress that one do, but nobody would actually see that. Everyone just looks at it and thinks that everything's okay and I've got nothing to worry about. Even now they still think that, but it's a very different story. So it was that I say I was lost in that materialistic world, but the money that I will gain now and being independent for myself, which will be so fulfilling for me, I will spend it on so many different things than I did before. I will spend it on traveling. I will seeing beautiful things, taking my girls, taking my girls to different countries, and absolutely.
So, in terms of Leanne now, I know that you've been writing as well, and you've been writing some children's books.
Yeah, each one's got a beautiful message for the younger generation, and the education system don't get taught about how to manage our mind and our thought process. And the first one is about an octopus called Olive Edith the Oracle. And she has a treasure chest of crystals, and she funnels through all the different stories because she helps all the different characters under the sea that have got any kind of issue, and gives them crystals that are for each individual thing. So she's a bit special, Olive, and this one's, it's about kindness and being able to manifest and introducing young children to the word manifest and what it means, and it's about creating wishes and believing in yourself. And so there's one about a mermaid, one about a merboy. The mermaid lost her confidence, the merboy has got grief because he lost his mum, and then there's a turtle, and there's a pirate and a shark.
So they're going to be in paperback,
and I'm going to do a hardback as well, which will be a bit more expensive because for obvious reasons.
So Leanne, how else can people work with you?
So I am actually doing coaching now as well. So it's soul, self and success alignment coaching. Usually it's people that are in a transition point in their lives. Maybe they've come out of a relationship, or they're struggling to deal with something, grief. Maybe it's just wanting more clarity. Maybe they want help with overthinking, because we know that's always the unraveling of them realising why that's happening. And anyone that wants help to understand themselves on a deeper level.
Brilliant. That's on your Linktree on your Instagram.
Yeah.
You see, you've got guided meditations there. Is there any plans to release those?
Good. So my site, with Lovely Anne, you can get hold of my meditations. There's 7 guided meditations.
Right.
And then also I've just recorded another 7. Me and Sophie have done so many bits and pieces. Detox course, we've got master classes, and we're creating a membership in September as well. So
right. So if they follow you on social, they'll get the information about that on there as well. So if people follow you on Instagram for that, Leanne.
Leanne Brown 1111, that's my Instagram, or eatprayselflove.co.uk.
Yeah, brilliant.
Perfect.
Well, thank you so much for today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's been great.
I really hope you enjoyed the interview with Leanne, and I'm sure there's some things there that are, really made you sit up and listen, particularly the things around her past and her childhood, and just how we bring those things into our everyday lives. I will make sure that the links to get in touch with Leanne or work with her or even just follow her are in the show notes. Like I say, I really enjoyed that interview with Leanne, and I hope you enjoyed it too. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode. I've had a great time. I hope you've enjoyed it. And again, I would love to hear back from you. So all that leaves me is to say, have fun, be happy, and join me next time. Don't forget to hit subscribe for all of my episodes.